Hi. Shakespeare got so many things right. He could have warned Boris in 2020 of the dire consequences of dumping Dominic Cummings. He could have told him to read Macbeth. This is what, he'd say, in its broad strokes, will happen. If you kill off someone close to you, either literally or professionally, you have made an enemy and they will come back to haunt you. Cummings is Banquo. Johnson became king. Like Macbeth, he had a powerful, ambitious and scheming partner and then wife in Carrie. She wants to be queen. She'll do anything to achieve it, and her husband is the instrument of advancement. Lady Macbeth to a T. Dominic Cummings and Carrie's rivalry and loathing for each other was always apparent, a ticking bomb at number 10. He called her crazy, as was Lady Macbeth, and said she drove Boris crackers, as did Lady Macbeth, her husband. Cummings also said that Boris regarded himself as the king, as did Macbeth, once the witches, like evil spin doctors, planted the idea and Lady Macbeth forced his hand. It's all so Shakespearean in its intrigue and potential disaster. Cummings was a powerful figure, and it's likely that Carrie was a major player in the dismissal of Cummings. But even though in Boris and Carrie's mind they had killed off Cummings like Banquo, he wouldn't go away. And this time it's almost a direct lift from Macbeth. Partygate. The ghost of Banquo appears at a celebratory dinner for Macbeth. He ruins the party and begins Macbeth's downfall. At number 10, it was a party that is similarly cursed. Cummings is back to haunt the king. Almost gleefully, he is stitching up Boris and revealing further incriminating details. Perhaps it was him who first told the press about the party. Whatever one thought of Cummings, he had a major strength. He often told Boris Johnson the way it was. He didn't bullshit him, but politics is mired in bullshit, and a time came when Boris didn't want to hear anything unpleasant or too direct. As Banquo warns Macbeth, so perhaps did Cummings warn Boris that, I quote, "to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths, win us with honest trifles to betray us in deepest consequence." He could be talking about Carrie or the spin machine or himself. The spin doctors, the focus groups, like the witches, have now done their worst and disappeared, and Cummings, the political ghost, has reared up at Partygate to aid the downfall of the king. Macbeth believed himself invincible. He thought he could not be killed by man of woman born, or that a forest can move. But he was wrong, because in life and politics there are always strange phantoms that appear, and reality is full of impossible snares and unforeseeable tragedies. But Macbeth thought he was invincible, above all harm. Similarly, Boris believed he was invincible because all his life he had gotten away with things. He had winged it and rode every storm in his obsessive ambition and dedication to the one thing that matters in his life, himself and his own glory. And like Macbeth, he was wrong. As Shakespeare could have told him, fair is foul and foul is fair. And from Henry IV, Part 2, uneasy is the head that wears a crown. But there's no Malcolm waiting in the wings to replace the king and restore order in the kingdom. There's Keir Starmer, who has all the charisma of a custard cream, and whose abiding talent is to shoot himself and his party in the foot. See how his glee at Partygate is unravelling. As it now transpires, he was eating and drinking beer with others in his own mini Partygate when the rules expressly forbade it. He's trying to worm his way out of it, but the mud will stick, and any party that has Angela Rayner, more suited to playing a pantomime widow Twankey than a Shakespearean character, is a worry. Jacob Rees-Mogg would be an interesting replacement for Johnson, because the left would hate him so much that they would exhaust themselves. He's everything they pretend to despise. He's posh, rich, Westminster, Eton and Trinity College educated, a Catholic and anti-abortionist. But he's also erudite, well-read, has a grasp of history rare in any politician of any colour, and he loves a good verbal battle. And perhaps he would generate another Shakespeare plot that we could appreciate. Richard II, perhaps, or Henry V, or, given the general political landscape, the comedy of errors.